Hello everyone. Just recently I decided to dye my hair. I had just a bright idea that it was time. Um, so I do have video of it. I'm going to show you that video, of course. But I noticed during editing that there were a few things that got missed in there, somehow disappeared from the camera. I don't know. I've been using a few different cameras trying to see what I like best. I'm still um, probably gonna buy a new camera just to forget all the other extra stuff that I've been having to do to work with these ones. But I am gonna show you what I used. I had to bleach my hair, and the bleaching process is in there, but not on what I used to bleach it. So first of all, I used this bleach powder, just 2 scoops of that, and then I also used this lifter, is 40 value. Um, I don't know how much of that I used. I just poured it in there until it became creamy and not powdery at all. I also deep conditioned and shampooed my hair. I used this coconut oil conditioner and shampoo. They both worked out very well. Um, I used this oil to combat my dyeing. Also, in this little brush here to help a little bit. It mostly stirred. I didn't use it very much during the dyeing or the bleaching process because just as I was doing it, it didn't feel like the brush was gonna be too necessary, but I used it to stir up the bleach, so I guess it worked. I also used gloves that I don't have, but I used gloves as well. So I'm gonna just show you that video. Here we go. So here I am, just getting started doing my bleaching. I I'm just kind of moving the camera a little bit, trying to make sure it's in the right spot for what I need to do. I just started putting a little bleach right on that one little spot of my head, and this is just going to be a bit of the bleaching process here. So here's me just continuing to bleach my hair. I'm just making sure that it's all over everything. I did not leave the bleach in there very long, which I could have left it in there for a little longer, but I was looking for more a dark color. I didn't want it to be very bright, the color that I was putting in, so I did only let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. At the 40 volume, it did bleach fairly easily, especially on my already bleached hair. So I tried to keep it at a minimal time amount. My virgin hair does bleach fairly easily with 40 value. Doesn't take much time at all. Now here I'm just starting to shampoo and wash to get all that bleach out, and then I will go into dyeing my hair, which isn't um, video much on that because of the camera cutting out and stopping. So here's me finished with washing my hair. Got it all clean, got all the bleach out. You want to make sure that you get all the bleach out. As you can see, it's not extremely bright, but it is like a light brown, which was more of what I was going for. My ends were fairly blonde by the end of it. So tried not to let that get so blonde, but it did, even with just being in there for just a few minutes. And here she comes with her newly dyed saturated hair right there. Well, guys, here I am with my new red hair. In the video, I don't have very much of me doing the red dye. the camera cut out in the middle of it, didn't even know, so all you see is just the saturated hair of mine in red. But what I used was Manic Panic's Vampire Red, which I am totally in love with. I was not going for a very bright red look, so this is very dark and sultry, more so like a burgundy that I was more looking forward towards. They did have a Vampire Kiss, which is very bright, and they also had an Inferno Red with Manic Panic. So, out of those three, I did pick the Vampire Red because of how dark it looked. The Inferno Red was dark as well, but it looked more like a pinkish red. This one was more of a purple red. As you can see somewhat, I'll open it a little bit for you. I had two of these. I only used this one and I only used half of it. It did spread extremely well. Usually if I do a box dye, it does not spread well at all, but that spread so easily. I hardly had to use any of it, and I still have a whole nother bottle of it left and half of that one, so it worked out pretty well. I would advise using Manic Panic. It's only been a few days for me to have my hair this color, so I can't really say how well it stays, but it has stayed fairly well since I've washed it and conditioned it. I've conditioned it 3 times since I have dyed it, so this is after 2-3 conditioning washes of that sort. So I'm glad you guys watched my video. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon.